Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay, and this is my 50th YouTube video. So I wanted to do something kind of special. I wanted to come on here and have kind of a heart-to-heart with you guys and explain why I'm so interested in homesteading. It's 2022, I'm 28 years old, and I feel this responsibility almost to homesteading and to this lifestyle that I'm trying to slowly break into. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you about why, my reasoning, because I'm coming on here and I'm teaching you guys these life skills and trying to kind of nudge my viewers in this direction. And I just want to make sure that anybody who comes to this channel and invests themselves in me and my videos, my life, and the things that I'm trying to teach you and show you, I want to make sure that you understand why I'm doing it, where I'm coming from. And I think that's vitally important. And I hope at the end it will cause you to think about your reasoning, why you're interested. Because obviously you are. If you're on my channel and if you're watching this video, you're interested in some aspect of homesteading. Maybe you're here for the cooking. Well, in my mind, even if you're only here for the cooking from scratch recipes, that's a step in the homesteading direction, if you ask me personally. And so I just kind of wanted to talk to you about the whys and kind of tell you where my heart is. And for me, it breaks down into two really big reasons. Of course, there are many, many reasons, and we could talk for hours about it. But there are two that I really want to touch on so that you kind of have a better understanding of me and my heart and where I'm coming from. The first one I want to talk about is how homesteading impacts my anxiety. I have really terrible anxiety. I have panic attacks. I have not so much social anxiety. I'm pretty good about going out and socializing with people, unless I'm having a really bad day, in which case it's not that I'm afraid to socialize, it's just that sometimes I don't have the energy. And that's really what it boils down to for me, is kind of having the energy to do things, and being hindered by my anxiety. I haven't treated it. I haven't seen a doctor about it yet. I am soon actually going to see a doctor about it. But my anxiety stems very much from kind of my thought process on my life so far and where I'm at as a 28-year-old. I got started really late in life. I'm divorced. And so the first half of my 20s was kind of a mess, if I'm being honest with you. So it took me a while to graduate college, and now I'm in a place where I'm much more settled. I'm with Tom, and I'm working in the field that I graduated college from. And so, you know, I finally have made it in this world's standards, today's standards, and yet I found myself feeling very empty still, and honestly a little betrayed, especially with COVID happening and me working in the hospital and the way that they treated us. I had a very difficult time with that, and it definitely left me feeling kind of like it was all for nothing, which I know that it wasn't, but that's kind of how I've been feeling. And I have this overwhelming anxiety about just where my life is headed, and that thought process has really opened my eyes to a lot of things going on in the world around us. And I don't want to necessarily get into all of that. We can, if you guys want to, in another video, but for now I just want to go on and say that because of all of that, homesteading has provided me a peace and a stillness in all of that anxiety and craziness that has been pivotal in my life. Absolutely pivotal. And gardening especially, I feel like we are very disconnected from the world around us, and we're very disconnected from the earth that we're currently living on. We're disconnected from our food and where it comes from. But gardening, to me, connects me back to the earth. And it really helps with my anxiety, because there are a lot of things that we have to do every day that I don't feel necessarily are vital, but somebody somewhere along the way has told us that it is. And so gardening is cool for me because we as humans on this planet Earth have been putting seeds in the earth since absolute day one of humans being here. And it's what we're meant to be doing, one of many things, but we're meant to be doing it. We're supposed to be growing food. We're supposed to be putting seeds in the ground. and growing a crop and harvesting it and preparing it for ourselves and our friends and family. These are things that we are intended to do. And the earth has been made in such a way that we are supported in that endeavor. And so when I'm outside and my hands are in the dirt and I'm planting seeds, or I'm pulling weeds, or I'm harvesting tomatoes, or this or that, I feel as though I am doing with my life in that moment exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And that has helped me tremendously, because when I'm in my car riddled with anxiety, driving to a job that I'm not sure I'm supposed to be doing, I have a really hard time justifying my life choices. And that's hard for me. That's very difficult. And I just feel like gardening specifically has really helped bring me back down from that and given me a purpose that I can 100% move forward in, knowing I'm supposed to be doing it. And then that kind of breaks down into subcategories where that remains true, such as preserving food and cooking with my fresh garden ingredients in the kitchen to provide healthy food for myself and for Tom and others when I'm able to. Things like that, they're just branches from that main core growing food. And I feel good about all of those as well. And so this whole homesteading endeavor, I've been interested in it for a long time. I was interested in it even before when I was with my ex-husband. It's always piqued my interest. But these past couple of years, it has really become less an interest and more a lifeline, something that I have to have or I will lose my mind. And so that, I don't know you or your situation. If you are somebody who struggles with anxiety, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but I just wanted to share that homesteading for me is a must. It can't even fathom how much it has helped me in my anxiety and my depression as well. But I struggle with anxiety more than depression, but that's there too. It's helped a lot. So moving on to the second item, working in the hospital system like I do. I'm an MRI tech. Before I was an MRI tech, I worked on the stroke team. So I was like, not first respond. I was kind of like the second person you saw when you got to the hospital after having a stroke. Somebody calls, or you call, the ambulance comes and gets you, they stabilize you, they take you to the hospital, you get a CT scan, and then from there they decide if they're going to treat you with medication or if you need to be intervened on. And I was the intervene team. So myself and the stroke doctor that was on, we would go in through your femoral artery up into your brain, locate the stroke, which a stroke is a blood clot in your brain, and we would suck it out. And so that's kind of what I was doing before. So there's that, and then being an MRI tech. Both of those jobs have wildly opened my eyes to the potential diseases and medical events that the human body can encounter. And I want none of it. I don't want any of it. I have seen some really terrible things. And as I'm getting older, so I'm approaching my 30s, my husband is in his 30s, it has become very clear to me that this is a pivotal time in our lives. We can either move forward into the middle of our life with the same unhealthy practices we've lived with for a while, or we can move into it more intentionally and with health, in the forefront of our minds. And that is pivotal for how the rest of our lives are going to go from a health standpoint. Of course, there are plenty of people out there who are incredibly lucky and they drink and they smoke cigarettes and they eat McDonald's and they're fine. And that could be us as well. And then also genetics play a big part in the diseases and medical events that you could potentially face. And there are things that you can do to kind of help prevent, but if it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I mean, it is what it is. So I know that, and I know that what I'm about to talk to you about is not foolproof. It's not 100% guarantee or anything. And I could still get cancer. Tom could still get whatever, it could still happen. But I feel this calling and intense need to help Tom and I move forward into the middle of our life on a healthy note. And homesteading has been huge for me with that. It's also opened my eyes to our broken food culture, which I don't want to dive really deeply into in this video. There are others on YouTube who have done an excellent job articulating on that. Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm is making waves in that issue, and she has a lot of really insightful things to say about it. So check out her YouTube channel if you haven't. But the food culture is incredibly broken, and I don't want to sound all conspiracy theorist. I don't want to lose you here, but I mean, it's a factual. Big Farm is not here to help you. They're here to make it worse. They're here to profit off of your illnesses. And so I really want to take that control back into my hands for my household, at least for now. And I love Tom so much. That man has my heart in ways I can't even tell you. And I feel this great responsibility to take care of him. And I want to make sure that he moves forward in life as healthy as I can make him. And I don't want to be the one feeding him the chemicals and the crap that could potentially lead to him being ill in the future. I want he and I to have many healthy, happy years together. I want to adventure with him. I want to experience all this life is going to provide us healthy and alert and happy, and I want to feel good, and I want him to feel good. And homesteading has helped me feel as though that can be a reality. Mind you, I know this sounds really dramatic, but I see it every day, and I know a lot of you don't. But I go to work every day, and I see prostate cancer, I see breast cancer, I see brain tumors, I see, so many. It's just, it's awful, the things that I see. And although not all of them can be helped, like ovarian cysts, for example, not a lot you can do about that, but a lot of these can be helped. And so I just want to provide that for us if I'm able to, and eventually as this plan grows and develops, and as things move forward in life, I'd like to be able to provide that. I've got plans and ideas to help other people too, but for now, Tom's my responsibility, I'm my responsibility. And using the word responsibility is important because it's no one else's responsibility. And that's kind of the big, like, in your face, like I want to put it on a neon sign. It's not the government's responsibility. It's not your parents' responsibility. It's not your job's responsibility. Whoever, it's your responsibility as an adult human to take care of yourself. Me taking care of Tom as well is just because I love him and I want to. But, you know, if you've got kids, they're your responsibility as well. And so homesteading is really great because, excuse me, oh, you know, I have tea. How about I take a sip of that? Homesteading is excellent because a lot of the items that fall under the word homesteading really help to promote a healthier lifestyle. I'm not talking about diets. I'm not talking about going vegan. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just trying to, in homesteading, I'm successfully able to implement little things here and there that promote a healthier lifestyle, such as my garden outside in my backyard is completely organic. I don't use any chemicals. I've not sprayed it with anything. Those tomatoes that I'm grabbing out of the garden and popping in my mouth while I'm standing there are completely organic, chemical-free, straight from the earth, meant to nourish my body. I can eat those, I can cook with those, I can give them to Tom, I can put them in my own body, and I can know that what I'm nourishing my body with is helping me and not hindering me in any way. And that's huge. And then with me getting into dehydrating, getting into canning, with me trying to freeze things, I'm just guaranteeing that moving forward, even in the wintertime, I'm able to provide us with sustenance that is going to help us versus something that's going to potentially cause an illness. And once you start to really be aware of that, and you really start to know about the chemicals in the foods and the things that we're consuming, it's really scary and overwhelming. Wow. But it's not an overnight thing. It's not something that you can, I mean, I guess you could if you were really committed, but it's not something that can change overnight. It takes time. It takes time to break a lot of those addictions and a lot of those habits. And when I say addictions, I mean, we were addicted to fast food. We were getting Taco Bell all the time. We were buying subs all the time. We were getting pizza all the time. And that's an addiction. And homesteading really helps me to kind of take control of that and be more intentional and take responsibility for what we're putting in our bodies. And I want that for you. I want that for you as well. So when I'm teaching you things like how to make homemade pizza dough, that's something that I've already put up on my channel. I'm doing that because that is a skill that will provide an end product that, if you consume, helps you more than it hurts you. And homemade vanilla extract, and what are some other things? Knowing how to cook with cast iron. These are all things that just help reduce the amount of chemical that you're putting in your body, and the end product, what you're consuming, is healthier than potential alternatives. And that's kind of the premise of homesteading, I feel like. Being able to produce something yourself instead of having to rely on somebody else to provide it is kind of what homesteading is all about. The word homestead, like your homestead, is your home, and you are responsible for what that looks like. What does that look like? And your homestead contains, the food that you're consuming, the products that you're cleaning with, the medicines that you're taking, the air that you're breathing, the couch that you're sitting on, the pets that you have, the animals that you have. That's your homestead, right? And so to be a homesteader, being a homesteader just means that you are taking control and you're taking responsibility of that space. This is your home base. This is where you lay your head at night. This is where you eat your breakfast. This is where you converse and spend time with your family. And we've lost touch. We as a people, not everybody, but a large portion, have lost touch. They're not as integrated in their home anymore. And that's a shame. That's a shame. So that's kind of my thought process. I hope that made sense. I try to stay on topic and not ramble because I'm kind of known for rambling. And I try not to do this on YouTube because I don't want anyone to have to sit through my ramblings. But anxiety is a huge one for why I've started homesteading. It has been huge in helping me control my anxiety and helping me feel like I have some control over my life. And then I want to be healthy. I really want to be healthy. I want Tom to be healthy. I want to control what we're putting in our bodies. I want to give us the best chance going forward at living. And I don't even want to, okay. How do I say this? I'm not even necessarily interested in lengthening our lives. That's determined by the good Lord, and I am on this earth for however long I'm on this earth, and I have no interest in controlling that number. If I live to be 60 or if I live to be 100, it makes no difference to me. I will be called home when the good Lord is ready. That's not what I mean. I want my quality of life to be good until the end. That's kind of what I mean, because I definitely have a lot of 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s patients that come in to get MRI scans, and they're so sickly, they're in so much pain, they're so miserable, they're not living anymore, they're not enjoying life, there is no joy, and they're completely dependent on other people to take care of them. And again, some of this is genetics and inevitable in many senses, but I don't want that for us, for Tom and I. And I, you know who actually is my motivation for that? I used to take piano lessons when I lived in Kentucky, and the couple, I would go to her home, and she lived on a farm with her husband, and they were elderly, but they were running that farm, just the two of them. They were running that farm. She was teaching piano out of her living room, and we often took lessons late because of my mom's work schedule, and the husband would just kind of make his way in from the farm and lay his hat down on the dining room table, and she'd finish up and say, okay, I've got to get dinner on the table. And they were the sweetest couple, but they were definitely in their 70s for sure, maybe even early 80s, and they were fine. They were great. They were healthy. They were happy. They were still living their lives together, adventuring together, accomplishing things together. They still ate dinner together and laid down in the bed together. And I want that for Tom and I as long as I can possibly have it. And I feel something that makes me feel like I have some control over that is homesteading, is gardening, is cooking fresh dinner and food in my kitchen and giving Tom hot, fresh meals with vegetables that I grew in my garden, food that I've been preserving. I've been brewing a lot of my own tea lately to help with my anxiety, among other things, and it's really been helping. And I'm definitely going to get into more medicinal herbs and things like that. I'm not saying I'm not going to go to the doctor, because I'm still going to go to the doctor. I work in the healthcare industry. I know it's vital. It's huge. It's why we're able to live as long as we're living. I get it. It's absolutely important, and I'm not totally dogging it. But there's a point where we have, at least here in America, totally forfeited all control over our lives and the things that we're consuming. And that's nuts. That's crazy that we're completely relying on other people to take care of us. That's nuts. And I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. So that's kind of why I homestead. And these are the things that I want for you. And that's kind of in the back of my mind when I'm teaching you these things. I don't want you to be anxious. I don't want you to walk around with anxiety. I don't want you to be sick. I don't want you to feel icky. I don't want you to be tired and have the brain fog, and I don't want you to have any pain, and I don't want you to just be ill in general. I want you to take control of your life. I want you to take control of the food you're eating. I want you to take control of your home and your family, and I want you to be involved in the life they're living and the food they're consuming and their just overall health. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And also it's fun. Homesteading's fun. So I hope that you got something from this. And this is my 50th video, 50. I'm so proud of that. I've been doing this for almost a year now. I've put out 50 videos and I can't wait. I'm so excited to continue to watch this channel grow and to meet so many of you and to talk to so many of you and to just continue putting out content that helps you grow and helps you learn and helps you take control of your home, your life, your family, your situations. Homesteading is a blessing, and we absolutely are still capable of taking control of that. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll put some videos here if you want to watch any more from me. Please consider subscribing if these things that I've listed for you today kind of touched you in any way. If you can agree with them, if you feel moved by them, consider subscribing so that you can come along on this journey with me. Thanks so much. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.